A woman once praised for her strength collapses from grief and illness, twice in 24 hours. The truth behind the silence shakes an entire polygamist dynasty. Behind the luxury, reality TV, and spiritual titles lies a story of unbearable loss, betrayal, and a terminal diagnosis that no one saw coming. From family tension to private heartbreak, this changes everything. If your life partner hid a terminal illness from you, would you forgive them or walk away? Drop your answer in the comments, because this story tests the limits of love, faith, and honesty. At exactly 4:47 a.m., paramedics were called to the Mseleku estate. The fifth wife had collapsed in the courtyard, unresponsive. She had just suffered a miscarriage, hours before a secret doctor's diagnosis changed her fate. Pain multiplies when silence is the loudest sound. Her body gave up before her voice could cry out. Sources close to the family reveal that she had been over 2 months pregnant. But not even her sister wives knew. No one did. Not even Musa. Secrecy often masks shame, but this one concealed fear. She feared rejection more than she feared the bleeding. 3 days before the miscarriage, she visited a Durban clinic alone, citing fatigue and abdominal pain. Blood tests showed an aggressive autoimmune condition, later confirmed as life-shortening. Truth can either save you or haunt you silently. She chose silence. Until her body chose otherwise. Musa reportedly broke down in a closed-door meeting with producers of their reality show. The co-wives reacted with stunned disbelief, followed by private accusations. 1 house. 5 wives. 0 preparation for terminal illness. The cracks in unity are now fault lines. Although cameras were off, leaked audio captured a piercing scream and someone yelling, "It's too soon." This occurred just before the ambulance arrived. Sometimes the rawest truths leak in whispers, not images. That audio is now with the family lawyer. A well-known Zulu prophet visited the estate that evening. His message: there is a spirit of grief in this house. Cultural rituals were immediately performed, some forbidden on filming days. When medicine fails, tradition steps in. But even ancestors can't undo fate. Privately, some allege Musa knew of the illness, but dismissed it as witchcraft panic. Others believe he truly didn't know. Trust breaks not when lies are told, but when truths are doubted. And this truth may cost him his 5th wife's life. Some fans are calling for privacy. Others demand the next season confront the diagnosis on camera. Twitter's divided, sympathy versus spectacle. Empathy fades when drama sells faster. But this is not a script, it's someone's pain. In a polygamous household, hierarchy is invisible, but real. The 5th wife reportedly struggled with validation from co-wives, often excluded from key decisions. In such homes, love can feel like a contest. And she was losing before she even started. Traditionally, wives must be in strong health to fulfill family roles, especially as caregivers. Her illness changes that dynamic, with whispers of her being relieved of duties. In polygamy, even sickness becomes political. She's now both patient and outcast. If this story has opened your eyes to the hidden cost of fame and tradition, hit that like button and subscribe. There's so much we're uncovering, don't miss what's coming next. Her older child, only 7 years old, still doesn't know she lost a sibling. She reportedly asked doctors not to tell, fearing the child's emotional trauma. Strength sometimes looks like silence. She carried both a child and a secret. A family friend accidentally leaked texts showing the 5th wife confessing pain to a distant cousin. She wrote, "Even if I die, don't let Musa know until the end." Secrets don't just break hearts, they build walls. That text now lives on screens worldwide. Producers were allegedly informed but chose not to halt filming completely. One producer reportedly said, "This will be real television." When grief becomes marketable content, ethics go on trial. The family is now reconsidering their participation. Medical experts say the autoimmune disease may have been worsening since last year. A miscarriage was inevitable, and emotional stress likely sped it up. Every missed checkup had a cost. Now she's on a ticking clock, with less than 18 months predicted. Friends say he's been unusually silent, avoiding press, canceling interviews, even skipping ceremonies. He reportedly spends hours alone in her hospital room. Even powerful men break. And this is the first time fans are seeing that. Minutes before she collapsed, she was heard praying. She said, "If I go, let them raise my child with truth." That single prayer is now haunting her husband and the family. Legacy is not what you leave behind, it's what you prepare for. And she's trying to prepare with time she barely has. Some believe the illness is ancestral, others say it's spiritual punishment. No consensus, but plenty of conflict. When belief systems collide, healing delays. Even doctors are urging them to unify. The wives are reportedly organizing a crisis council. Musa is considering counseling for the kids. But the real question, will the fifth wife return to the show, or leave the limelight forever? Every ending is also a beginning. And her next chapter starts now. At precisely 4:47 a.m., a scream pierced the quiet Mseleku estate. Within minutes, paramedics rushed through the gates, responding to a sudden collapse. Musa Mseleku's fifth wife lay motionless in the courtyard. The staff were shaken. She had reportedly suffered a miscarriage just hours earlier, but the physical trauma was only half the crisis. Doctors would soon confirm something even more devastating, a terminal illness diagnosis that had gone unnoticed by her family. Her body broke down before her truth broke free. This wasn't just medical, it was emotional implosion. In moments like these, silence speaks the loudest. Few people knew she was pregnant. None of the sister wives were told. Even Musa himself, sources allege, had no idea. She had quietly carried a 2-month-old pregnancy, unsure how to navigate the emotional landmines of a polygamous household. But by the time the bleeding started, the damage, both physical and psychological, was irreversible. She didn't fear miscarriage. She feared judgment. In a house full of women competing for space, pregnancy is not always a celebration. It can be a silent rebellion, a bid for emotional relevance. Concealment doesn't come from shame. It comes from survival. 3 days before the miscarriage, she visited a small Durban clinic, quietly slipping away from the estate under the guise of a quick checkup. What began as fatigue and abdominal pain led to routine blood work, then came the thunderclap. The tests revealed an aggressive autoimmune condition, irreversible and life-shortening. Doctors were blunt. Her immune system was attacking her organs. The window for intervention had already narrowed. She didn't cry. She nodded and walked out. Alone. When your body turns against you, who do you trust first, your family or your silence? In her case, she chose silence. And time ran out. The news fractured the fragile harmony in the Mseleku household. According to insiders, Musa broke down during a private family meeting, his usually composed demeanor shattered. The other wives, stunned, conflicted. Some reportedly cried. Others demanded answers. Why hadn't she said anything? Why had she kept both the pregnancy and the diagnosis hidden? In polygamy, unity is precious, but often it's just performance. Now, the performance is unraveling.